until, like, when the intro starts.
Black and blue, I crawl along the wreckage of what now is gone. Back to you to fight another day. I'll go on and on and on and on. I'll face it, the demons I created with every last part of me. The pain will fade and I'll go on and on and on and on. Black and blue, I crawl to you. Black and blue, I crawl to you.
Hello everyone, welcome to SmackDown, and this is basically the first Eli solo episode since, if I were to contribute to a Looney Tunes episode, here's the thing about next Raw. We're actually not going to be playing Tetris 99, we're actually going to be playing Looney Tunes Duck Amuck for the DS as an addendum to this, and I feel like my contributions to this episode would pretty much begin and end with that game, so I feel like actually playing it on Raw would be much better than just droning on about a game. So,
Right.
This is basically an Eli solo episode. I mean, if I have even one sorta kind of quip I want to say, I'll say it. But even then, Eli, don't even assume that I'll say anything. I'll say something when I decide to say something, basically.
Yeah.
So, This is your first solo episode, Eli, so
So
take
there
it
really,
all. Go ahead.
so there, wait, I was just about to say, there really hasn't been an official, like, solo for me.
No, there hasn't been an official true solo for you.
Yeah, I mean, Michael had been there, like, I remember when we did the, like, voices, like, yeah, Michael was there, I mean, but I did all the talking, and, you know, he really didn't have that much to say, but for this one, it is my official solo, so.
Yeah, it's basically your official solo episode. So tell me when you are done and I'll end the stream.
Okay, and still, like, you know, if you have anything to say, you know, like,
If
like,
I
'cause
have if I have anything to say, even if it's like a small quip, I'll decide when I say that. Don't assume that I'll just say something.
right, okay, well, we're starting, so, man, because for many years, like, you know, the Looney Tunes, have been around, and, you know, even, like, say, of course, before I was born, and even before my parents were born, and, you know, it all goes back to, well, during the days when the people who began the Looney Tunes, well, they first started working with none other than Walt Disney himself. Most notably, like, you know, Friz Freleng and Tex Avery, you know, they worked with Walt, and, you know, because, like, the guys who did Looney Tunes, they, of course, helped with the Mickey Mouse shorts. But up to that point, you know, because, you know, when things kind of changed, and I think since, you know, in 1923, well, I don't know really, but, you know, some of the animators went their separate ways, and, you know, of course, most notably, Rudolph Ising and Friz Freleng and Tex Avery, yeah, big names of Looney Tunes. Well, Tex Avery, well, I guess he had some involvement in Looney Tunes. I really don't know, but he had his own batch of cartoons. And, of course, Ising, Rudolph Ising and Friz Freleng, because they're, like, the two guys that started Looney Tunes. And some of the early characters for Looney Tunes, like, man, because, like, because, you know, back in the early days when, you know, there were black and white cartoons, and, like, some of the first batch of characters for Looney Tunes, like, first off was Bosco, the ink boy, was, you know, like, kind of like a black person, and, yeah, talk about, like, say, back in the old days of cartoons with blackface. I'm telling you, I don't want to be racist or anything, but it's true. Then, most notably, like, well, people would, you know, like, a controversy, like, but okay, there's no like real controversy to this. Like, okay, Melting Man 234 did a Forgotten Media episode on this. And, you know, a second thought, because what I'm going to do for this stream, I'm going to do something special. Well, first off, because, so one character that, that some people say that, you know what, he's a ripoff of Mickey Mouse, and that being, of course, Foxy, who totally looks like Mickey Mouse. And gosh, I should have had this planned early, but okay, hold on a sec. This is what I'm gonna do. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna screen share this, so you know. Give me a second. Yeah, so Foxy. So yeah, looking at Foxy and such, he looks like a complete ripoff of Mickey Mouse because he's almost got the look, he's got the ears, you know, everything. And according to and again, because Melting Man 234, he did Forgotten Media episode of Foxy, and he explained this, that, you know, and from what Melting Man 234 gathered was that Foxy was one of the many doodles Walt and Ub Iwerks were making, because after, you know, the company, Walt Disney, he lost the rights to Oswald the Lucky Rabbit to, you know, Charles, I forget his last name, but, you know, who was part of Universal Studios. So, you know, it was after Walt and his crew, they lost the rights to Oswald the Lucky Rabbit, and they started trying to make a new character. And of course, as we all know, they secretly created Mickey Mouse. Like, a mouse design was chosen, which being named Mickey Mouse, as we all know and love today. And Rudolph Ising took the Fox character with him and made 3 shorts, and those being Lady Play Your Mandolin, or I think that's how you say it, and Smile Darn Ya Smile, and One More Time. And Smile Darn Ya Smile was well known, like the word Smile Darn Ya Smile, and of course it was a song, Smile Darn Ya Smile, like that would go on to be and say, like, most notably in Who Framed Roger Rabbit, because, you know, the tunes singing Smile Darn Ya Smile, it was even in an episode of Batman the Brave and the Bold, and that's what Melting Man 234 said. But also, you know, Foxy and his other companion of characters, like there was Foxy's love interest, Roxy, who of course obviously looked a lot like Minnie Mouse, and even Foxy had a dog which almost looked like Pluto, I guess. I don't know, but you know, even I mistook Bosco almost looking like Mickey Mouse, and Bosco had a love interest too. But, you know, that's not really true. But, you know, and, you know, Foxy and Roxy, they would go on to it wouldn't be until years later when Foxy and Roxy would come back in Tiny Toons, because when, you know, forgotten black and white cartoon characters are discovered. But so there's that on Foxy. And, you know, because you know, Foxy, after his 3 shorts, Foxy was just abandoned in 1939, never to be seen again. But that wasn't until, you know, as I said, like, Foxy would make his comeback, you know, guest starring in Tiny Toons. So that was really nice for Tiny Toons, and of course, specifically Warner Brothers doing that. So yeah, Foxy and Bosco were like kind of like one of the first few characters that started off with Looney Tunes, and even like say when Merry Melodies began. I think because, yeah, and okay, Electric Dragon 505, aka Animat, like, his animation look back on Looney Tunes, like, the first video he published of animation look back of Looney Tunes, like, talking about the entire history of Looney Tunes, and mentioning the fact that, because, hold on, I'll pull this up too, of Merry Melodies. Yeah, because, you know, because, well, here's another thing, because, you know, Disney, because it has to do something with Disney also, because, you know, Good God. Okay. So okay, Merry Melodies. To be honest, just to say this, I'm a bit confused. Like, what is the difference with whenever, like, say, a Looney Tunes short would have the name Merry Melodies or something like that? And Decem, do you know this? And if you can hear me, Decem, do you know this? Do you? Well, if he's still there, I don't know. But oh, okay.
In my
Do you know
opinion,
what? Do you know
I
what
think
it
the
is that
difference was like Merry Melodies was supposed to be compared to the Disney's Silly Symphonies, I think. And Looney
Well,
Tunes just
okay. Well, wait a minute. This is what I'm asking is this. Sometimes there would be a Looney Tunes short that would not have the name Merry Melodies to it, but there would sometimes be one that have the name Merry Melodies to it. So I'm trying the best to explain this.
well, here's the difference. I think anything I could say is if Warner Brothers wanted it to be compared to Silly Symphonies, then they would put Merry Melodies on it. If not, they wouldn't. I mean, at least that's my answer. I don't think it's correct, but this is why I'm not really participating that much.
Okay. Well, I just had to. I just wanted. I just hoped you. I just hope that you knew what it is that I was trying to trying to know. Just But anyways, all right. So, because and for you to say something while I was trying to do something, because I should have thought of this early. Of course, I didn't. So, anyways. Okay, so back on the subject of Merry Melodies. All right, so back on the subject of Merry Melodies. Okay, so Merry Melodies would be the name that Looney Tunes would have because, well, they were trying to think of a name for, and I can't remember what Animat specifically said, but of course, one thing is, well, Disney already had the name Silly Symphonies, so they had to think of they had to come up with a different name, of course, and of course, Merry Melodies was the one they picked. And here's another thing, because the guy who was like in charge, I guess, of the Looney Tunes of Looney Tunes. Well, not really. Like, he didn't really care, and he just let the animators do whatever they wanted to do as long as it, as long as it made good money and such. And that was Leon Schlesinger, because Leon Schlesinger was a businessman. Was clearly a businessman, and again, he didn't care, about what the animators were doing. He just let them have at it, and as long as it made good fortune and such. And of course it did. Like, the animators at Termite Terrace, because that's that was the studio, like the building that they were in, making all those shorts. It's been said that the animators just basically animated those shorts themselves. They made them for themselves, and of course, for the audiences as well. Yeah, so that's something. And yeah, because Looney Tunes being because look at what Looney Tunes turned out, and the history. Talk about the history of animation for sure. So there's Merry Melodies. Well, let's come to, like, say, the characters. Like, first off, Bugs Bunny, because Bugs Bunny, the Mickey Mouse of Looney Tunes, I should say. Pretty much. Yeah, and because I remember, because not too long ago, I mean, it was maybe last year or so, I don't know, because when Bugs Bunny had his 80th birthday, like, he's in his 80s now, but still a good-looking rabbit, for his age, sarcasm, but anyway, so Bugs Bunny, he's right there and one of the stars of Looney Tunes in a lot of shorts, and yeah, so he's had some most well-known and beloved shorts, and also when it comes to, coming face to face with his opponents, with having antagonists. Specifically, of course, like one of the first ones being Elmer Fudd. And when it was not Elmer Fudd, and when they were giving Elmer Fudd a break, like it would be, say, Yosemite Sam, it would be Marvin the Martian, because here's the thing, and as Aaaand said this in his animation look back, Friz Freleng had Yosemite Sam, excuse me, and Chuck Jones had Marvin the Martian. So, each one had their own characters they created, and for them to face off against Bugs Bunny. And also, same goes for Bob, I forget his last name, but who created Tasmanian Devil, another antagonist for Bugs. But there, of course, were plenty of other antagonists, like like there was that one short where, Bugs came face to face with those two hillbillies. That was pretty funny. And, even like, say, coming face to face with Gossamer, the big red guy, and, and a bunch of others as well. And some beloved shorts that he had, like, say, were from What's Opera Duck to the Duck Wabbit trilogy. Well, the trilogy of Bugs, Daffy, and Elmer, because of the whole duck season, Wabbit season thing. Daffy, I don't know, like, I guess he was kind of an antagonist, but, kind of banging heads with Bugs Bunny, just, kind of friends, stuff like that, But, anyways, I'm trying to remember what else. Like, oh yeah, because I remember those two shorts where, for one, Bugs was playing the piano, and another was Bugs, conducting an orchestra, and here's another thing. See, the first time watching these shorts, like, I remember, because I had a buttload of VHS tapes of a collection of Looney Tunes shorts. And these VHS tapes, like, I technically still have them, but probably just would not be able to play them anymore, because, well, my family doesn't really have a VHS tape anymore, but, so again, these VHS tapes, as I recall, like, these were like from the late 90s. I want to say 1999 is when these came out. And some of those shorts, like, I was introduced to, like, I really can't remember. I guess my introduction to Looney Tunes was from those shorts, of course, and those VHS tapes. I think that's how I got introduced to the Looney Tunes. And as I recall, like, it was from Looney Tunes to Pink Panther, and of course, specifically Disney. They were my, like, first cartoons I had watched, and of course, being the original ones, and as it should be. So, and other great Bugs Bunny shorts, because still on the subject of Bugs Bunny, there was also Bugs being a shaver, that short film, welcome to my shop, let me cut your mop, daintily, because him and Elmer Fudd, that was a pretty funny one. Trying to remember what else, but yeah, that's all I've got to say about Bugs. So, there's that. And, anyways, but also, on the subject, now let's come to other characters, like, of course, Daffy Duck, for example. Hold on a sec. I'm trying to pull up an image of Daffy. I guess this will have to do. So instead of just, Okay, so Daffy Duck. So Daffy Duck, because he's a competitor against Bugs Bunny, and trying to take the spotlight and such. The thing is, the joke is with Daffy, and I almost feel sorry for Daffy, because I love Daffy too. Daffy not getting attention, and in some shorts, like, Bugs would be the one that everybody loves, while Daffy is just treated like garbage. Even, like, say, in the movies, like, I remember specifically in Space Jam, and in Back in Action. So there's that. And Again, because like Daffy, because here's the fun fact. Because on the subject of Mel Blanc, because Mel Blanc, the man with 1,000 voices, like when recording Daffy, he would have to be sped up. He couldn't do Daffy in real time, because I guess like the actual recording of Mel Blanc as Daffy would be, say, Sylvester. Even I've seen there's even like behind the scenes of like there's a sample of behind the scenes of Who Framed Roger Rabbit when he was recording for Daffy for the that infamous piano duet, and listening to the actual footage and recording of Mel doing Daffy, like it's freaking Sylvester, but without the sloppy lisp. And so there's that. And again, Mel had to have his voice be sped up doing Daffy. But, when later actors came in to do Daffy, I guess some of them didn't have to have their voices be sped up. Like, as I recall, like D. Bradley Baker, who was one of the voice actors for Daffy, like he didn't have to have his voice sped up, and he was one of those actors that could do it in real time. And trying to remember what else. Like some Daffy shorts that I can remember he's done, like that Daffy's been in, like, of course, most notably, there's Robin Hood, there's the Scarlet Pumpernickel, and of course, most famously, his famous role, Duck Dodgers, in the 24th and a half century. And then, of course, we all remember that he would get Daffy as Duck Dodgers would get his own show on Cartoon Network. I remember seeing that show on Boomerang, and I watched it a lot. I loved that show, and it was during that time when, like, say, Cartoon Network was good, and even like say at the same time that Duck Dodgers was on, like you also had Crypto the Super Dog, so I can tell right away. But so there's that. There's Duck Dodgers. Other shorts that I can remember, like, okay, Daffy being one of the early Looney Tunes characters, maybe before, say, Bugs, I don't know. Like, I think it was Daffy and Porky that were one of the other early Looney Tunes characters as well, and they're like both Porky and Daffy in shorts together, they were good as well. Like, especially duck season, and Porky being the hunter, and of course because Porky's he's a pig, so a pig who goes hunting. That's funny. So there's that, and that's all I can think of really on Daffy. But to change it up a bit, let's do Marvin the Martian next. So Marvin the Martian, find a good image of him. Well, this is about good right here. So Marvin the Martian, okay. Marvin the Martian, he's probably one of my favorite Looney Tunes characters for sure. And so, of course, Marvin, most notably being the antagonist in the Duck Dodgers shorts, and of course, being Duck Dodgers' enemy, and even again, Marvin was one of those competitors, Bugs Bunny's competitors, antagonists, and Marvin's debut, as I recall, was it was in 1948, I want to say, and it was when Bugs Bunny was sent to the moon, and then he happens to be there right as Marvin arrives. And you know what? Because Marvin had a different voice than what we know as today. Like, not that kind of voice, but something like this. It had that kind of voice. Oh dear, like that kind of voice. Even Marvin's dog was still there, Canine. And Marvin in that short was going to blow up Earth because apparently it blocks his view of Venus. And the same thing would happen, I guess. Yeah, later on when Marvin would appear, like there would be a minor change to Marvin in the later Looney Tunes shorts. Like specifically, of course, Marvin his color would be a bit different. Like his helmet and shirt would be different. Yeah, Marvin would have gold on him while he would have a green shirt on. So his helmet and his skirt were no longer green, and his shirt was no longer red. But of course, that did change back the way it was like later on, and when new Looney Tunes shorts were made, like say in the 80s. But anyways, so there's that, and trying to think of what else to say on Marvin. Yeah, but again, Marvin Martian is just one of my favorite Looney Tunes characters, and for him being one of Chuck Jones's creations is great, But yeah, so there's that. So, and now let's talk about like Sylvester and Tweety Bird, because two other famous Looney Tunes characters, and I'll mention and just to kind of speed things up, I'll mention just a few more characters after Sylvester, like Wyly, Coyote, and Roadrunner, and so on, and just kind of speed things up a bit. So Sylvester and Tweety, because I'm trying to pull up a picture as well of them. So hold on. Okay, so Sylvester and Tweety, two other most popular Looney Tunes characters, and the popular shorts they've had, including Sylvester would be in a couple of Looney Tunes shorts that would be Oscar nominated, and I don't know if they actually did win Oscars. I really don't know, but even Sylvester didn't start off being named Sylvester, and he was I think at first referred to as Thomas, and then of course he would be then officially named Sylvester. And some of my favorite Sylvester and Tweety shorts, first off with Sylvester and Tweety, there was one of my favorites, Tweety SOS. It takes place entirely on a cruise ship, and with Granny being there, of course. And there's that, and because what Sylvester says, hello breakfast. That's funny. And another one of my favorites has to be I can't remember the name of it, but to describe it, to put it this, it's like Sylvester trying to get Tweety in this apartment building, and it is pretty funny. I guess at one point Sylvester trying to use a bowling ball or something, and even at one point pretending to be impersonating a monkey and impersonating a bellhop, and at one point Sylvester is on the trolley, cord lines, and Tweety and Granny driving the trolley cars, and kind of chasing after Sylvester as he's getting zapped. Other shorts with Sylvester, there was one that he was in with Elmer, where of course he's singing at night and Elmer's not getting any sleep. The original version of that short with that plot was, of course, a different singing cat, and instead of Elmer, it was Porky Pig. So this one with Sylvester and Elmer, I guess it was kind of a remake or something, I guess. Yeah, I mean that was still good too. The remake was still good, and also Sylvester. Other things that Sylvester would do in the world of Looney Tunes would be say Sylvester having a non-speaking role with Porky Pig, which were done by Chuck Jones. Sylvester would be Porky's cat, and other times Sylvester would be with his son, named Junior, and many times they would try to. They mistake a baby kangaroo, for a giant mouse, and they're trying to get the mouse, even though it's really a baby kangaroo. And I think at one point the baby kangaroo had boxing gloves. I guess I don't know, but So there's that, and I'm trying to think of what else there was with Sylvester. Like, oh yeah, because I guess this was one time or two times, I guess. I really don't know. I've only seen one. And that, of course, being when he would come face to face with these two dogs named Spike and Chester. Chester was this bulldog, while Chester was this, like, tiny dog who was like a yellowish kind of dog. That was like the dog's color. That was Chester's color. And Spike trying to take on Sylvester. But in that short that I remember seeing was, a panther had been let loose, and Spike mistaken Sylvester for the panther, and thinking that, and doesn't realize that it's a panther, and believing it is Sylvester, and Spike being scared of Sylvester, and Chester always, grabbing Sylvester by the tail and swinging him around, and thus, Chester becomes the tough dog wearing the hat, Um, so there was that. And I've not seen this one either, but, there was one short where Sylvester was with Foghorn Leghorn, and most notably because Sylvester hitting Foghorn on the head and just saying, shut up. Like, that, there was that. And also, like, yeah, Sylvester coming face to face with Speedy Gonzalez, and even the one Looney Tunes short that would be Oscar nominated, and I guess it would be an Oscar winner, and that was, of course, Speedy Gonzalez' official debut. Speedy helping mice get cheese, and taking care of Sylvester, and so there was that. And even I remember this too, like Sylvester coming face to face with this one mouse. Oh gosh, I can't remember what the heck this was called, but like the characters, like the village people, like dancing, and so was the mice, and yeah, I just really can't remember, Even like Mel Blanc, who's doing the narrator, was speaking, our story is centers on this little mouse, just something like that. That's the best I can describe. But anyways, so I think I pretty much covered everything on Sylvester, really. So there's that. And oh yeah, because one more thing on Sylvester and Tweety, like in the early 2010s, Sylvester and Tweety would have their own, like, computer animated short, which being I taught a pootie tat. I really like this because from that and another computer animated Looney Tunes short, which being Daffy Duck's Rhapsody, it's actually Mel Blanc's voice for Daffy, Tweety, and Sylvester, because, well, those songs are real. And they took those songs and they just made shorts out of them, and of course being CG, and that was great. That was really good. So there's that on Sylvester and Tweety. Now we'll come to Wyly Coyote and the Roadrunner. So I'm just pulling up a picture of them. So give me just a second. Please stand by. Okay, give me just a second. We're eventually I'm gonna speed things up and, not talk about all the characters. All right, so Wyly Coyote and Roadrunner, because another two batch of most popular and well-known Looney Tunes characters with their series of short films, and all the Acme gadgets that Wyly Coyote would use to catch the Roadrunner and would always fail miserably. And even at times when it wasn't always the Roadrunner, just a few times, like once or twice, like it would be Bugs Bunny, I should say. And Wyly Coyote would come face to face with Bugs Bunny, like Bugs Bunny kind of taking Roadrunner's place, like kind of speeding down the line. And at times, Wyly Coyote would speak, and he would be preferred as Wyly Coyote Super Genius. And yeah, so there was that, and I think, yeah, with Wile E. Coyote talking, it worked with, say, Bugs Bunny, and yeah, it just worked. But when he was not speaking and it was with Roadrunner, yeah, that worked. So, yeah, I'm even like, say, because of Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner, they got so many short films, and I remember some, like, what I can remember specifically was, like, say, when I guess, like, Wile E. Coyote, he tried to use, like, a steel ball or something, and then another time, of course, this is a most well known of Wile E. Coyote, like drawing a wall, like it's a tunnel and such. And you know what? The Roadrunner does drive, does go goes in the tunnel. But I remember there was this video. There was this like video on YouTube where somebody did a alternate version of it that Roadrunner actually hits the wall. And even there have been many jokes where Wile E. Coyote finally got the Roadrunner, and even like Family Guy did a joke on this. And I'm trying to think of what else. Like, I don't know, but like even like say there were a couple of, I think there were three of them, I want to say, where Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner, they had computer animated shorts. I think there were just two. I want to say there were just two. Like, I remember the one that played before the live action Yogi Bear film played. I remember that. And then, even like say in the Looney Tunes show that was on Cartoon Network, around 2013, I believe it was. Yeah, and there were a batch of CG Roadrunner Wile E. Coyote shorts. Like I remember one where Wile E. Coyote becomes gigantic, and I guess Wile E. Coyote used this kind of like Zorb, I want to say. I don't know. But one of the CG shorts that played before a movie started, like I think it was this one that was before Yogi Bear started, where Wile E. Coyote was using one of those, what are those called? Where, like in Mall Cop, they would drive the handles and such. I hope you know what it is that I'm talking about, but it was that one. And I remember that, and trying to think of what else. Like, oh yeah, because even like say during I guess the 70s or 80s, I don't know, like Looney Tunes having a couple of shows, like first being like say the Bugs Bunny and Roadrunner show, and then it would be changed to like say the Bugs Bunny and Tweety show. So there's that, and trying to remember something else on I guess Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner. Well, I don't know, but there's that on them. But to quickly to speed things up and to mention some of the characters like Elmer Fudd and Yosemite Sam, because two of Bugs Bunny's antagonists, they're great characters, and Elmer Fudd, just his accent, be very, very quiet. I'm hunting rabbits. I could do some good Looney Tunes impressions. And Yosemite Sam, the roughest, toughest E-man stopping, and I ain't no mammy-pammy. Yep, Yosemite Sam, another beloved Looney Tunes character with this giant mustache. And from being a cowboy to a pirate, I could go on because he had so many roles, not just being a cowboy. Foghorn Leghorn, I'll say Foghorn Leghorn because he's beloved rooster, and his batch of shorts, like from when it comes to like say a chicken hawk to the dog, and to say a bunch of other chickens in the barn, and Egghead. There was this one short of Foghorn Leghorn where well, because when he's trying to be a dad to this little chick, I guess named Egghead, with glasses. He has glasses on, and playing hide and go seek. And Egghead figures out where Foghorn is hiding. He digs him up out of the ground because he digs him out where his hiding place was, and Foghorn was just about to look where he was hiding, and he's like, no, I better not look. I might just be in there. That kills my dad the most. It gets him all the time. Even when, like, say, Foghorn trying to be a dad to another baby chick, and they were doing something with a gun, and the chick was supposed to pull the string, and as Foghorn was encouraging him to, as Foghorn was saying, harder, harder, and when it points to him, he's like, hardy, hardy, and it fires on it. It's hilarious. And again, as I mentioned, like the farm dog and the chicken hawk, like those were some of the best ones. And also some of the other characters, like, yeah, I know I mentioned Porky Pig, so don't really need to mention him that much. Well, like one thing, like Porky and that dog named Charlie, because those were good ones too. Gossamer, yeah, with him and Bugs Bunny, like there were two of them. One where the scientist was, Peter Lorre, and the other one being, of course, Dr. Frankenbeans, and Frankenbeans sending out Gossamer to retrieve, Bugs, and, Frankenbeans wanting to use Bugs' brain for his giant robot. And also some of the other Looney Tunes characters that, okay, I know I mentioned Speedy Gonzales. There was also Hubie and Birdie, these two mice that were another one of Chuck Jones's creations, and a cat that would come face to face with the two mice named, Claude. So there was Claude the cat, this yellow cat, and who Claude too would come face to face with Charlie the dog at times. And speaking of dogs, like also Mark Anthony and that little kitten Mittens, like some of their shorts were the most popular, of course. And most notably, of course, the one where Mark Anthony thinks the kitten is being baked, That's a beloved one, and everybody, like even Monsters Inc., paying nod to that short. Because as we know, that sequence where Sully thinks Boo's being crushed in garbage, there's that. So I know you're listening to Sam, and you would probably know about that. So, anyways, so moving on. Yeah, so okay, you're there. So you remember. So you should know that the most popular Looney Tunes short with Mark Anthony and the kitten, that whole scene where the kitten's being baked, is being nod to in Monsters Inc., as I just said.
Oh.
Did you not know that?
I actually did not know that.
Oh, okay. Okay then. Well, anyways, all right. But don't you have anything really to say? Like, is there anything you have to say right now before I keep going and like mention a few things I know you'll want to say?
Not really.
Not really?
Yeah, like I said to you, like, don't assume that I gotta say something.
All right, but I know you'll have something to say when I bring up the subject of games. But
I mean, here's the thing.
We're not there yet, so just be patient.
Look, yeah, I'll say something if I want to say something.
All right, okay? Just until I get there. So
got it.
Anyways, so there's that on. Gosh, I'm trying to think of what other characters to mention. Like, oh yeah, like there's the Dover Boys, Tom, Dick, and Larry, and that was another one of the most popular Looney Tunes shorts. Where they come face and where their antagonists. I forget his name, but who has the thing, who kidnaps Doris, and I remember some of his dialogue. I hate Dick, I hate Larry, I hate Tom. They drive me to drink. It's funny, and even when he hijacks a car, he says, I'll steal it. No one will ever know. Like there's that, and even that sequence where they're playing hide and go seek, the Dover Boys and Doris. It's pretty funny. When the Dover Boys are just going, over here, over here, over here, over here. It's really funny. And how much Doris counts, like 520, 519, 518. That's, man, that totally gives the Dover Boys a lot of time to hide. But anyways, other characters that I could think of. I'm trying to think, like, just looking at the thumbnail I made. Um, like, oh yeah, of course. I forgot to mention, like, there's God, I can't miss out on this. Like, Pepe Le Pew and Penelope, those shorts. Yeah, and if I have to mention this, and if you know, Pepe Le Pew being called a you know a gosh, what's the word again? A rapist, yeah, rapist. Like bull crap, because he's an animal and he's a skunk and he's trying to find love. Okay, where did any of the Pepe Le Pew Looney Tunes shorts where he was acting like a rapist? There was no detection of that whatsoever. Um, and again, Penelope the cat, who's mistaken for being a skunk because at times something would like drip down on her tail, as a white stripe, and that would make Pepe Le Pew think that she's a skunk, but really she's a cat. Um, there was also, oh yeah, I can't forget about this, like the another most popular Looney Tunes short, Michigan J Frog. Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my ragtime gal. There was that, and Rocky and Muggsy, like those two gangsters, and who were another one of Bugs Bunny's antagonists. Um, Tasmanian Devil, I mentioned him as well, and his batch of shorts, and with Bugs Bunny, pretty funny as well. And even like say another antagonist for Bugs, like there was this vulture, yeah, like oh no 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 no, there was him, and oh yeah, even like say uh, Sam the sheepdog and Ralph the wolf, and Ralph the wolf most notably, you know, designed after Wyly Coyote, because of course Ralph the wolf and Wyly Coyote, they both look alike, but the only difference is, well, Ralph is considered a wolf and he's got a red nose, and the color of the eyes is different as well. Um, Ralph's eyes being white, while Wyly Coyote's was yellow, and um, there was a few touches up for Ralph, as I recall. But yeah, and also Witch Hazel, who would come face to face with Bugs Bunny at times. Let's go eat the goodies, yeah, da 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 da. That's funny. And Blood Count, who would come face to face with Bugs as well, and the whole Hocus Pocus, Abracadabra. Um, and there's also those two gophers who are British, I want to say. They were pretty funny too. My favorite one from them was when they're in this uh, canned tomato factory. I think that's what it is. Yeah, I think it was that. Yeah, that's what it was that they were in. And the three bears. Oh gosh, because looking back at those, like the the Papa Bear was an abuser to his son. Like, wow, just punching the crap out of his son so many times. But later on, and as the Bears kept appearing, like that, of course, changed for sure. I don't think they would really do that anymore. But um, anyways, then there was also at times like Looney Tunes would do those fairy tale short films. Gosh, like there's a DVD of it too, where you know, like most notably, they did a lot of Red Riding Hood ones, and the one with Bugs Bunny coming face to face with Witch Hazel, with Hansel and Gretel, and even one like say where they did the Big Bad Wolf at times, and like there's one where the three pigs are jazz players, and the wolf is a trumpet player, and he wants to join the pigs jazz band. I remember that, and even like say being heavily featured in one of the like first Looney Tunes movies, which we'll come to in just a sec. I'm trying to remember what else. Other things that I left off. Well, and like later on, and as the Looney Tunes shorts kept going, because things kind of changed for Looney Tunes, and then came in this like a new Looney Tunes character named Cool Cat, and is it me or was like the animation like with Cool Cat and so on, almost like feels feel feels like Hanna Barbera kind of feel. I really don't know. But anyways, and others that I'll quickly mention, like, yeah, I think, yeah, I mentioned Pete the Puma, maybe, I don't know, like, and him coming face to face with Bugs Bunny, and I'm trying to get a little rabbit, like, there was him, and a couple others, like, and even I included in the thumbnail, like, there was this, like, moth character, and like, because in that short where he was going to marry a bee, a lady bee, and the widow, like, was trying to kidnap the moth, and this live action person that would pop up and, like, play piano and just sing, and I'll tell you the story, and but the moth, but the moth could not have the widow, and it made the widow mad, just stuff like that. um Oh gosh, even, like, there was a Hitler joke in there somewhere. You just have to see the short to see what I'm talking about. And even, like, say another one that I most notably remember, like, how do we know it's Sunday? Da 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 da. And actually, I actually watched that earlier today. Believe it or not. There was also Rhapsody of, I don't know how you pronounce this last name, but it was that short where uh I guess this boss, he was conducting the construction workers building a building, so, in which I did put him in the background of the thumbnail, right next to Chester and Spike. So, and also another one, the genie one, where Bugs, rubs the genie, the lamp of the genie, and the genie was voiced by Mr. Howell from Gilligan's Island, and the genie was named Smokey. Yeah, give it to him, Smokey. And I'm the genie in the lamp, because that's how he'd always sounded. Anyways, okay, but let's keep going. Like, let's talk about the movies. Like, in the late '70s and throughout the '80s, like, but the Looney Tunes had their movies, like, from the Bugs Bunny and Roadrunner movie. There was that, and there was also I've seen this. I think I've seen this, and I technically have a DVD of this, although it's double DVD feature packed, if you know what I'm saying, alongside with Tweety's High Flying Adventure and the first batch of episodes of the Looney Tunes show, and that, of course, being um, the Looney Bugs Bunny movie. Um, there's also Bugs Bunny's third movie, 101 Rabbit Tales, and Daffy Duck's Fantastic Island, of course, being a parody of Fantasy Island. Daffy and Speedy Gonzalez, they're playing the parts, like, like what Ricardo Montalban played and What's His Face, the little guy. And one of their last movies, the very last Looney Tunes movie until Space Jam happened, and which being the last Looney Tunes project to have Mel Blanc voice the characters, which was Daffy Duck's Quackbusters. So there was that, and after Daffy Duck's Quackbusters, that came to an end for the Looney Tunes movies. But it wouldn't be until, say, we had Space Jam, and Space Jam being mutual, like, people liked it and people didn't. Like, most notably, Joe Dante and Chuck Jones didn't like it. Chuck Jones didn't like the personalities of the Looney Tunes characters. Neither did Joe Dante, and Chuck Jones said that Bugs Bunny would have handled the Nerdlucks easily. Um, there's that, and also a couple of years later, in 2003, we had Looney Tunes Back in Action, and that's what Joe Dante directed, and I forget what the name was for what Joe Dante called Back in Action, because of his hatred for Space Jam, and to what Animat described, what Animat did say. I like Looney Tunes Back in Action. It's okay. I'm sure that, yeah, Joe Dante, he tried his very best, but between him and his clash with Warner Brothers, because Warner Brothers would not leave Joe Dante alone and not let Joe do what he wanted to do for the movie. Gosh, like, just, yeah, Warner. That was a pardon my French. That was a dick move for Warner Brothers. And Chuck Jones, he wanted to have this movie be in tribute for Chuck Jones, because Chuck Jones had died during production. Yeah, and Joe Dante, because he's been a long time Looney Tunes fan. So, um, I guess that was probably something for him, like to direct a Looney Tunes feature film. Not to mention when he did Gremlins 2, the new batch, Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck did make appearances in the film at the beginning and at the end of the film, during the end credits. And even Porky Pig, I think, did make an appearance as well. And also, the Looney Tunes in the 90s were okay. Like, some of their shorts, like some directed by Chuck Jones, and there was one, Invasion of the Bunny Snatchers, a parody of Invasion of the Body Snatchers. And so there was that. And yeah, it just seemed like for the Looney Tunes in the early 2000s, things were not looking so good for them. And a couple of movies they had, like direct to movies, like there was, as I mentioned a bit early, Tweety's High Flying Adventure. Tweety gets his own movie. And like Tweety's friend or love interest, whatever it is, I don't know if it's been confirmed, but Auga, and then there's also another character that I forgot to mention, Lola Bunny, because now that because Lola Bunny being right there with the Looney Tunes and being Bug's love interest, yeah, because making her debut in Space Jam and would go on to appear in other Looney Tunes stuff, like from Tweety's High Flying Adventure, and having a prominent role in the Looney Tunes show, where she's entirely different than how she is, like when she last appeared, like say in Space Jam. Like Lola is acting weird and crazy, and being voiced by Kristen Wiig. Yeah, so there's that. But I didn't mind so much, but anyways, besides, where was Bugs gonna find another girl than Lola? Even though Lola was acting a bit crazy, Anyways, and okay, where do I want to go to next? Okay, well, why not? Because now we'll come to the video games. Like, mention some of the video games. Like, first off, there was one Looney Tunes, like some of the Looney Tunes games in the early 2000s. Like, for example, there was one Looney Tunes, even Aaaand mentioned this, like in his animation look back of Looney Tunes, and when he did that one talking about Sam the dog and Ralph the wolf, where they had their own video game. There was that, and even Bugs Bunny having a couple of his own video games, and another which being a video game adaptation of Looney Tunes Back in Action. And then one of, I think, honestly don't know, like if this was considered a good Looney Tunes game. Like, gosh, I have so many memories playing this one. And hold on, I'm about to bring it up. So, and don't worry, I'm going to be bringing up Duck Amuck in just a sec. So, so Looney Tunes Acme Arsenal, man, I have so many memories playing this on the Wii, and this was, well, I think I don't know, like I don't know which came first, like if Duck Amuck came first and then Looney Tunes Acme Arsenal, or if both came out around the same time. I want to say, because even like seeing the trailers for Looney Tunes Acme Arsenal, like even right before the trailer would end, it would quickly promote Duck Amuck. So there was that, but I will say, Looney Tunes Acme Arsenal was a pretty fun game. I have so many memories playing it. I'd always have the music like muted, because I guess I did. I don't know. I guess I don't know. I just felt like having the music be muted whenever I'd play Looney Tunes Acme Arsenal. The animation, like the way that the characters look in CG, and for it being a video game, not that bad. They look pretty good. I'd say. Because yeah, their designs in the game look pretty good and such, and yeah, because the only like characters you can play that you were only able to play in the game were Bugs, Daffy, Marvin, Taz, Foghorn, and Gossamer, and Bugs Bunny as the Green Rabbit, or there's a name to it. I don't know what it is, but but anyways, so there's that, and yeah, Dr. Frankenbeans being the main antagonist, and I don't understand this. Porky in this game starts off being evil Porky, what happened? Like, I don't know. Was this the origin of Porky or something? Or I don't know. Did Frankenbeans turn Porky, evil at some point? I really don't know. Because like even like when Dr. Frankenbeans has evil Porky tied up and he says to him, so evil Porky, you have failed me to capturing all the Looney Tunes. And when Gossamer gives Porky a drink, I don't know, like to turn him good or something. I don't know. Like Porky said, but I thought we were friends. Like, I don't understand it. Like, was this how Porky started? Was he evil the whole time or something? I really don't know. I honestly don't know. Who knows? But anyways, yeah, and even because even in Looney Tunes Acme Arsenal, most notably, like the Looney Tunes characters going back in time, I guess, to save their ancestors. Bugs Bunny's ancestor. Are there pictures? Can I find this? Like, I don't know, because I don't know how it looks on screen, but yeah, I don't know. But the ancestors of the Looney Tunes characters, so, yeah, no luck. So, so from Daffy Duck's ancestor being the great King Daffy to Tasmanian Devil's ancestor, and also I'm trying to remember what else. Like, yeah, because there was Yosemite Sam's ancestor. There was Marvin the Marvin's ancestor, grandfather Mervin, I guess that's how you say it. Foghorn Leghorn's ancestor being in an egg and during the war. 10 hups, soldier, as Foghorn Leghorn said. And Bugs Bunny's ancestor being a pharaoh bunny, and Sylvester being there as well. So, inflational as he's knocked out, and Tweety's like flying around his head, it's that kind of thing, characters like when they would get knocked out or something, they'd see stars or birds flying around them, that whole thing. And even like I have to mention Roger Rabbit, rabbits see stars, not birds, stars. Yeah, I had to mention that. But here's another thing. I forgot to mention this. The Looney Tunes characters being in Who Framed Roger Rabbit, like that was one of the only few times where you'd have Disney characters and Looney Tunes and Warner Brothers cartoon characters together at the same time. Like most notably, of course, the famous piano duet with Daffy and Donald, and the parachuting sequence with Mickey and Bugs when Bugs gives Eddie Valiant the spare, which was a tire. So, and other like Looney Tunes characters popping up and having lines and having silent cameos, and all of them except for one or two, I want to say. Well, except for one, which being Yosemite Sam. Yosemite Sam being voiced by Joe Lasky. Mel Blanc. This was another one of Mel Blanc's final like times playing the Looney Tunes characters. So from that and Daffy Duck's Quackbusters, released in the same year, 1988, and of course Mel Blanc would pass away a year later. And one of his very last roles was, after his death, which being the Jetsons movie, and he had done a couple of voices for Hanna-Barbera shows, like most notably voicing Barney Rubble in the Flintstones. So there's that. So, anyways, all right, and of course we have to mention Duck Amuck. I don't know who would want to go first. Anyways, like, okay, you go first. You go first. Go ahead.
Looney Tunes Duck Amuck was one of the first DS games I got. The first one I got was Big Brain Academy, then New Super Mario Bros. The third one was Duck Amuck. And this was a pretty fun game. Like, what would happen is that I'm pretty sure you talked about the Duck Amuck cartoon before on this episode, right?
No, I have not. But thanks for reminding me.
Yeah, in case you didn't know, Duck Amuck is one of the more famous Daffy Duck cartoons where...
Of course.
Yeah, I mean, since it's famous, I don't really have to explain much.
Well, let me quickly go through it before you continue. Like
Go
Duck
ahead.
Amuck, well, after I'm done, you continue. So Duck Amuck, as you brought up, because yeah, it was another one of Daffy Duck's most popular shorts, where he would be fighting off again, arguing with the animator, basically, with paintbrush and pencil, and changing the background and stuff like that. And even another Daffy would show up. What are you doing down there? Blah blah blah. And we would then find out that Bugs Bunny was the one that was behind all this. And ain't I a stinker? And apparently there was another version of Duck Amuck that would come later, and this time it would be all about Bugs Bunny. And when crap would happen to Bugs Bunny, and Bugs Bunny coming arguing and fighting off against the animator, and of course we would find. When I first saw that short, I wondered who the animator was. Like, could it have been Daffy? But no, it was Elmer Fudd. That was funny. So, but there's that on Duck Amuck, and of course the DS game Duck Amuck would be inspired by the Duck Amuck short. But okay, Desem, go ahead.
Essentially, what this game does is says, "What if you were the animator?"
Exactly,
and it's kind of like a mini game collection where you would have Daffy in like various mini games and you try to fuck with him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, we're actually going to go through this next Raw instead of Tetris 99. Tetris 99 is going to be moved to next week, the week after that.
Yeah, because why not? Because keep going a little bit more, doing Looney Tunes. After the SmackDown and for Raw, we do a bit more Looney Tunes.
Yeah, the main reason I haven't been contributing much was my contributions to this episode would begin and end at this game, so I might as well just play it for Raw instead.
Right. So, anyways, is that all you have to say about Duck Amuck?
Yeah, I said it was a mini game collection. I thought I described its relation to the cartoon. I thought it was a relationship.
Right. Okay.
And I might as well say it was a huge part of my childhood, and I've played it for years, and I can't wait to play it for Raw.
Oh yeah, relive those memories for sure.
Yep.
Okay, well anyway.
So that's all I have to say about it.
Okay, well, we're getting close to the end, pretty much, but a few more things to mention about Looney Tunes. So yeah, good thing we talked about Duck Amuck, but others that, okay, more on the Looney Tunes show, because the Looney Tunes show, I remember, like, when it was premiering, and I remember watching the show. I actually was one of those few that did like it. Although the thing is, like, I guess, yeah, my parents complained about this, and even some people did, of course, that Daffy was not the Daffy, like, being all the time angry, there was that. And other things, like Gossamer was a kid in this one, and Witch Hazel was apparently a sassy African American woman, basically. That's what the voice was, and Witch Hazel was apparently the mother to Gossamer. Speedy Gonzales was living with Bugs and Daffy, like in a tiny mouse hole, and even those say that Speedy Gonzales was, I think, yeah, he owned his own restaurant, pizza place. Yosemite Sam was neighbors with Bugs and Daffy. And another thing is that I'm trying to remember, like, yeah, even Tasmanian Devil, like, would become Bugs's pet. And some episodes that I can remember most notably. Well, of course, the first batch of episodes, like for example, the high school reunion, Daffy Duck's high school reunion with some characters that were there at high school, like Marvin, Pete Puma, and Porky Pig, and Daffy was referred to as Daffy Dork. Yeah, and also, trying to remember, yeah, those episodes between Bugs and Lola, their relationship, yeah, and in one of those episodes, not just that, but also Daffy kind of going on a date with Granny, and Granny, we find out about Granny's backstory. Like, she was this beautiful, like, young secret agent, and during, I guess, the time of World War II with the Germans, and Tweety being there as well, being a helping hand for Granny. Another episode is when Bugs loses his gloves and is now wearing biker gloves. His attitude entirely changes. I remember that. Another one that I've not really seen, and that's where Bugs has a chipped tooth, and he's going to be taking a picture with Lola and her parents, and eventually they all have chipped tooths. So there's that. And also Daffy accusing his neighbors of stealing his paper. I remember that. And the Merry Melody songs, they were pretty good. Like the very first ones, like Grilled Cheese, which was Elmer Fudd's song, and I'm a Martian, Marvin's song. Yosemite Sam's song, I blew my staff. Yellow Bird, which was Tweety Bird's song, and Sylvester trying to catch Tweety. Another song of Marvin, which was, all about his laser beam, and two songs about Speedy Gonzales, like, Speedy Gonzales being like the one that steals the cheese and almost like looking like Zorro, I guess. He's all dressed in black and with a mask. Another one, which was Pizza Riba, all about pizza. And another one, which was Lola Bunny, which was We Are in Love, and Bugs just running away, blah, blah, blah. And, and eventually, the Looney Tunes show did come to an end, of course. There was another like directive Looney Tunes movie, which was Rabbit's Run. I guess that's what it was called. I don't know. And this was like, I guess, somewhere after the Looney Tunes show came to an end, I think. Another one that I'm missing, which being Bah Humduck. I remember that most notably, and everybody seems to know that one as well, like being one of Looney Tunes' like few Christmas specials. They did have one of Halloween, like, I guess, Quackbuster's counting. But Bah Humduck, Daffy Duck playing the part of Scrooge, Porky being the Bob Cratchit, Bugs just popping up here and there, kind of being the narrator, and so on. While the ghosts of Christmas past, present, and future, like Granny and Tweety, are the ghosts of Christmas past. Yosemite Sam is the ghost of Christmas present, fits perfectly. And Tasmanian Devil being the ghost of Christmas yet to come, fits as well. And Sylvester being like the Jacob Marley wannabe, the Jacob Marley, this film's version of Jacob Marley, yeah. And gosh, I can't forget about this either. Lunatics Unleashed. I've been meaning to give that a shot. Maybe I've just seen a couple of episodes of that. It was around the same time as Duck Dodgers as well. Lunatics Unleashed, it was like an entirely different take on the Looney Tunes, their names being changed from Ace Bunny to, like, say, Melvin the Martian. That's all I can really remember, but, but, like, say, Joe Lasky, like, did come in and voice, like, say, the different version of Marvin and Sylvester, and I believe Tweety as well. So there's that. I'm not sure if it did any good. I really don't know. And gosh, to quickly mention this, those Looney Tunes commercials from like the 90s and such, and oh my gosh, I still have these. This was a thing. Like, at one time when McDonald's was having Looney Tunes toys, they had these where the Looney Tunes characters would be dressed as DC characters. Bugs would be Superman, would be Super Bunny. Daffy Duck would be Bat Duck. Tasmanian Devil would be Taz Flash. And Petunia Pig, we've not talked about Petunia Pig, and nor have I ever seen a Looney Tunes short with Petunia Pig. Petunia Pig would be Wonder Pig. So there's that. So I have those toys still. I got them online. I got them off online, so obviously. And anyways, but keep going. Like other later Looney Tunes shows that would happen, like there was the Wabbit series, in which the name would be changed a bit, and then officially we would get a new Looney Tunes show that has been airing on HBO's streaming service, which was New Looney Tunes Cartoons, and it seems like it's been doing pretty good, as I recall. as I recall, like that's been doing pretty good. I'll have to give that a shot. I don't see why not. And one more thing to wrap things up, because of where we've currently been at with Looney Tunes. And that, of course, being, hold on, I'm going to pull up a picture of this. If I could find a good one, you know. Yeah, this will have to do. So hold on, just give me 1 sec. One more time for, screen sharing. Space Jam: A New Legacy. I still have yet to see the sequel to the long-awaited. Okay, to start off saying this, the long-awaited Space Jam sequel that everybody was waiting for to see, and even when Warner Brothers a couple years back announced that it was in production, and it still took them a couple years to make. When we did finally get it, and this time starring LeBron James, if I said his name right, LeBron, instead of Michael Jordan. And yeah, how it turned out and how it was received, it sucked bad. It was that bad. But I still haven't seen it yet. I'd like to see it, and I'm sure that I'll probably like it, It's like how sometimes I could like some movies that, people consider so horrible. Like I like a little bit of the Joel Schumacher Batman films. So something like that, And like say how I do like, say, the live action Flintstones film, etc. But Space Jam: A New Legacy, I'm sure I'll like it, It looks okay, and from what we get in this film, as far as I can tell, like, you know what? There were a few good things that came from this movie, like some of its jokes, like the joke that Michael Jordan made a cameo in this, but it's really Michael B. Jordan. That was funny. Or like say the background characters that we get. It's like a crap ton of characters from other Warner Brothers material, from Batman, oh gosh, like even throwing in Game of Thrones and throwing in Hanna-Barbera, and gosh, even throwing in the Droogs from A Clockwork Orange. Oh my gosh. How are they in this family-friendly movie and Pepe Le Pew is not? That's a good fact right there, And because Pepe Le Pew was cut from this, which that was really a shame, because even Pepe Le Pew had a minor role in Space Jam, being part of the basketball team. He even had funny moments too, from spraying his scent on the Monstars, and when he couldn't stand one bad smell, from Wayne Knight's character. You just have to see the movie and to see that scene. What I'm talking, so you know what I'm talking about. Even the Nerdlucks, who were in the first movie, who were the Monstars, they did make a cameo in Space Jam: A New Legacy, which that was nice. But you know what? Even Teen Titans, around the same time as this, Teen Titans Go, they did an episode with the Nerdlucks making an appearance and them watching the first Space Jam film. So there was that. And even I remember there was this one like commercial. It is most notably on YouTube, and it was a couple of years before Space Jam 2, where, I guess it wasn't LeBron, but it was a different basketball player, and going on against, Marvin the Martian and Bugs Bunny being there as well. There was that, but, and even like, say, the cameos that we get in this, like, okay, the Batman characters, as I said, I named them, but others that I missed, like Rick and Morty, they have a cameo in this as well. The locations that the characters go to, like Batman, Casablanca, and Mad Max Fury Road, which, by the way, if you have not seen Nostalgia Critic's review of both Space Jam: A New Legacy and Mad Max Fury Road, there's one thing in Nostalgia Critic's review of Mad Max Fury Road where, gosh, like this was a big coincidence where, a bit of like, say, Roadrunner Wyly Coyote was in Nostalgia Critic's review of Mad Max Fury Road. There were these two vehicles that were supposed to resemble Roadrunner Wyly Coyote. And to think, because, with Mad Max, a bit of Mad Max and Space Jam: A New Legacy and Wyly Coyote and Roadrunner being in there, you just have to see all of that so you know what I'm really talking about. But also like other cameos that I, just to quickly mention, like Elmer Fudd playing not Dr. Evil, but playing Mini-Me, Sylvester playing Dr. Evil's cat, like we get a bit of Austin Powers in there. Yosemite Sam in Casablanca, I guess, as the piano player, I guess. Yeah, it was Humphrey Bogart's character. Yeah, that's all I really can remember. But yeah, again, I'm sure I'll like Space Jam: A New Legacy. And for those that have or have not seen it yet, I don't know. But and as I said, I ought to give the new Looney Tunes cartoons a watch again. As I from what I heard, it's been doing good. You know, they've been doing good. So yeah. Anyways, but anyways, so there's that. And I can't really think of anything else to say. But I think I pretty much covered everything. Right there. So that's because of the new Looney Tunes cartoons and Space Jam: New Legacy, that's what we had recently gotten of Looney Tunes. So there's that, and that's a good. And of course, that's where to end it off there. So,
alrighty. So for Raw, you already know. For SmackDown, I think I actually don't have anything scheduled for next SmackDown, but we might as well make it Batman. How about we do DC Marvel for the next few? Like DC Part 1, Marvel Part 1, DC Part 2, Marvel Part 2.
Now, what exactly? Because you said Batman and like you were kind of going back and forth. What now?
Yeah, like, how about we do DC Part 1, which is basically Batman, the one you talked about.
That I suggested.
Yeah, that you suggested.
Yeah, because
we're just gonna call that DC Part 1. Like, this, like, for reference, the title of the second DC episode is gonna be SmackDown 2. Like, SmackDown Batman 2 DC Superheroes or something.
Yeah, I mean, I was just gonna say, like, I did think of this, that maybe we ought to do like a SmackDown of Batman or something, especially since after 10 years we're getting a new live action Batman film. Just you know.
Yeah. I mean, what I was saying was, how about next SmackDown we do a Batman one, and then we do a Marvel one, like just non-MCU stuff, and then we do DC Part 2, which is just everything besides Batman. And then we do Marvel Part 2, which is basically the MCU.
Okay.
So, I mean, at least that's my idea. I mean, I'll probably come up with something later that's different from this. I mean, this is just pulling something out of my butt right now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'll do a more proper schedule. I mean, we are gonna do the Batman one soon, most likely.
Yep.
But until then, you have this to look forward to tomorrow. Jackbox Rumble. It's still going to be called that. Tomorrow, buddy. On the YRC Livestream channel.
Have that to look forward to, viewers.
Alright, so that's it.